Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so we have just read the text, the foundation of all good qualities. Then sentence number 1, mainly talking about how Guru, the root Guru, is so important. Second, the faith towards Guru and Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is very important. Then sentence number 2, you talk about impermanence. So understanding the precious freedom of the rebirth is found only once. That means we have human life. The human life is maybe for us look like only one times. It's so difficult to have. It's so rare to have this kind of human life. It is rare because cause and conditions. In order to have this kind of human life, we need a lot of positive virtues, as well as we really need to practice the Pratimokkha's vows. That's why the condition is so difficult to have, therefore the result of human life is so difficult to have. But it is so easy to decay. So every day, so we just remember, I'm a human being. I have the precious human life. So difficult to attain, so easy to lose, so easy to decay. If I lose this opportunity, that means we totally lost the opportunity forever. Because the next life we will born as animals. We are not going to understand anything. We won't have any time to receive dharma. Even though you were born in the like a dharma, you were born in the place where it's a dharma, but you don't understand because you as a human being, not human being that time. Then the last sentence he say here, generate the mind that unceasingly day and night take its essence. So important. So the life is it will be very short. Maybe most of us going to stay maybe plus 90 if we are very fortunate. So we can say plus 90. So the life is very short. So we don't have a really time to study all the Dharma's texts. We don't have enough time to receive all the teachings. That means we try to practice Lamrim, try to achieve, try to get the essence. Essence here, like a Buddhahood, liberation, free from samsara. That's what one of the Tibetan masters said. Life is so short. We need to do so many things. So we cannot, practice. We cannot receive all the teaching and instruction. We try to get the essence, like, the particular bird who drink milk, within the water. For example, there's a, big pot of water mixed with the milk. The bird cannot drink all the water. The water is too big, too lot of water. Then, in order to drink the milk, he or the bird doesn't need to drink all the water. He can just select the water, select the milk from the water. So the water, the Buddha teaching, all the Buddha's dharma, or the dharma texts are look like water. You cannot study all the texts. You cannot digest all the texts. So the milk is look like the Lamrim. Just read the Lamrim, try to practice as much as you can. So another important, if there's a next life, I say if we still believe in next life, but we are still not sure yet, right? We are still not sure about next life. If there's a next life, we are very fortunate because we study Dharma, we practice Dharma, we practice Lamrim. We have something to carry in next life. We have something which is totally positive to cause for good life, for next life. Even though if there's no next life, also it is good to study Lamrim, study Dharma, practice Lamrim. It keeps you busy, it keeps you happy. Even though after you 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, you are very happy, you are very busy about practicing Dharma. You are always busy, doing meditation and chanting. It keeps you very busy, not only just busy, make you very happy. And moment of the death, then finally when we are going to die, then you can see there's an indication, we are going to die. Also you can see you are going to go to, next, life, next stage. Then if you remember, you practice Dharma, you practice Lamrim, you are very happy. Oh, I practice Dharma and Lamrim. Dharma and Lamrim can help me for next life. So everybody, don't just come to TBC to attend the Lamrim class. Not just read the Lamrim text as a newspaper. But when you read newspaper, you must know what happened in Singapore, what happened in Malaysia. You need knowledge what happened around you. The Lamrim is not look like reading newspaper, not reading like story books. You need to digest, you need to practice very seriously. At the beginning, yes, I think very difficult because we, haven't practiced very seriously. At the beginning, for a few months, I think you will have a little difficult. You have a little difficulties to practice Dharma, practice Lamrim. Try continuously within 1 year. Therefore, you become a lot easy to study, to practice, to meditate. So as a Buddhism, three things we must compound together: listening, reflecting, meditating. That's mean you listen the teaching, think about the meaning very precisely, try to understand the meaning, think about the meaning. Then number third, meditate on the meaning. For example, everybody knows what does mean bodhicitta. We know what does mean great compassion. Compassion, when we try to practice at the beginning, is very difficult. Despite the difficulties, even try to practice. While we practice Dharma, we always have a lot of obstacles, lot of kind of unnecessary things will happen in your life. So that time you should not be discouraged to study Dharma, practice Dharma. If you discourage that more, if you become totally hopeless when you face difficulties, that means usually I told you, and you have a very expensive, one of the best headache medicine. Why you are headache if you don't eat? Then what's the point to have the medicine? At the beginning, yes, when you try to practice Lamrim, definitely you will have lot of difficulties. Someday you feel you're going to feel. I believe in Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. I don't think there's a Buddha because right now I have a lot of problems. I cannot see the Buddha is helping to you. If you really need help from Buddha, number one, you need to practice Dharma, right? When you get sick, you have a really strong hope the doctor can help you, right? If you don't take the medicine, the doctor says, I'm sorry, I cannot do anything for you because you are not taking my medicine, you are not following my instruction. For example, this moment, if Buddha Shakyamuni appear in front of us. Amida Buddha come in front of us. Any Buddha just, due to our luck, if appear in front of us, what are we going to say? Hello Buddha, how are you? Right? Are you going to say like that? You say, bless me. Yeah, everybody say, bless me, bless me. Oh yeah, Buddha, will have put his hand on your head, our head. Can you feel you really, receiving and blessing? Cannot. You feel very happy, you move. For example, most of you met, His Holiness Dalai Lama. He's one of the very, renowned, practitioner, very, holy. At the moment when you met him, you feel so happy. Your tear comes. It is not due to your practice. It's not due to actually, blessing by Dalai Lama. It's happened because your emotion. You are so emotional, become very emotional. You just become very happy. After finish visit, come to your hotel, come to Singapore, you become as normal, right? Right? That moment, just met Dalai Lama. Not only just focus his teaching, continues to practice his teaching. Then after you came to Singapore, you can see, yes, the result of Dalai Lama, in meeting of Dalai Lama, result is still there. That's why even though Buddha come to the TBC hall, but TBC hall is not that beautiful, no big temple. I hope one day Buddha will come. Even though he come to see us, what we can say? Everybody definitely going to say, bless me, bless me, bless me. I have this problem, that problem, right? Then Buddha said, if you really need my help, if you really trust me, if you really believe me, if you really, need something, he said, you just study my teaching, you practice my teaching. So everybody, don't be just attend the Lamrim class, don't read simply the Lamrim text, read, sing and practice. Try to, be, better person, try to be happier person, try to be, better Buddhist. Then, then you can get the purpose of studying Lamrim. Otherwise, you cannot get anything, even though you study Lamrim, you read Lamrim every day, even though you carry the Lamrim text everywhere, you cannot get anything if you don't practice. Then, how do we can practice Lamrim? As the foundation of good quality mention. First, you need a guide like a guru. Second, you must recognize you have a very special life. It's so difficult to have, easy to lose. You can see it's very easy to lose because when I think after last class, I think somebody at Anjali, right? You shows someone passed away. She was so surprised, very surprised. Because we don't recognize, everybody, everything is impermanence. Among us, anybody can die anytime. First, I am impermanent. I am going to die anytime. I don't have a really time to be, doing a lot of negative things. I don't have a time to do the bad thing because I'm going to die any time. It's very urgent. For example, you are really serious ill. You are in hospital in front of the doctor. Somebody texts you a lot of beautiful things. You don't have a time to reply because you are very busy to see the doctor. You don't care all the the things. That means we really need to think, I'm very urgent. We're going to die anytime. Then slowly think about impermanence, and slowly you think about the suffering in the samsara, suffering in all sentient beings. Then generate great compassion. Then based on great compassion, generate bodhicitta. After generate bodhicitta, then you really need to practice the bodhisattva's practices, which is mainly the 6 prajnana paramitas. So we have already studied prajnana paramitas of generosity. So So practice of generosity is mainly need to practice in order to reduce, the stages of, our phenomena, stages of our body, mind. Particularly, it need to practice in order to reduce the attachment about our life, attachment our belonging. So we surely reviewed in order to, recall the first paramita. You just, I think, listen, don't read the books. So I will just tell a little bit about according to the subjects. Then you're going to remember. Very important, I ask you to, how to dedicate the merit. If you dedicate from the depths of your heart all root virtues, however great or small they may be, for the sake of accomplishing both temporarily and ultimately extensive benefit and happiness for all living beings. Right? That means when you practice, first you think this way. I'm going to dedicate, I'm going to practice the Dharma to benefit, temporarily, ultimately, extensive benefit and happiness all living beings. That means you always keep in your mind all sentient being. Whatever you do for all sentient being, for temporary happiness, ultimate happiness. Then when you practice, generosity, so at the beginning, you can practice two different ways. One, you really actually you can give, things away. You can think, things to give away, which is you able to give. Then, sometimes when you read the text, the text mentions, you need to give your life, you need to give your flesh and meat and bones. At the beginning, you should not do this kind of practice. You just give away whichever you can, how much you can. You should not give too much. If you give, too much, you give, over, then you will have a, disappointment. You won't be happy. Which practice you're not able to practice right now, you do a lot of, aspiration to do this kind of practice. The practice which you can do right now, you do, very gently, slowly. Don't push too much. Too much. Then, generosity has how many types? 3 types of generosity. What are they?
Giving the Dharma.
Yeah.
Protection,
And
material.
Yeah. Practice of, giving of teaching, giving of fearless, giving of actual things giving. The giving of Dharma, teaching, not necessarily giving, the Buddha teaching. Also you can, give, you can teach, different types of teaching. Also, as an older person, someday you need to give good advice to the youngsters. Or you need to give advice to your families and friends and brothers and sisters. They also, part of practice of generosity. You are giving a teaching. So when you give advice, you make sure the advice based on Buddha teaching, based on, particular masters. Otherwise, many people give, many strange advice, which is not, not really realistic advice. Before you give advice to someone, you must think this I must give this advice to this person based on Lamrim teaching, based on teaching of Buddha Shakyamuni, based on certain masters. This is also part of giving of teaching. Then giving of fearless, particularly I mentioned, the fish liberation, liberate fish from, the fish pond, or, liberation animals from, certain types of. Then when we practice, right, everybody must practice. That means how everyone should practice. Then there are how many supreme? Six supreme, right? Make sure supreme basis. Second is supreme thing, supreme aim, supreme skill in mean, supreme dedication, supreme purity. Make sure when you practice generosity, you must generate the great compassion, bodhicitta. You must practice the generosity, sense of having the bodhicitta. As a beginner, we don't have real bodhicitta within our mind stream, but you generate, just visualize, just think all sentient beings. Visualize all sentient beings. Remember all sentient beings. Remember they are suffering. Remember they are total in suffer. Wish to bring all sentient being from, wish all sentient being, be Buddha. So in order to be Buddha, how you can bring them as a Buddha state? The number one, you must give a teaching. In order to give a perfect teaching, you need to become a Buddha. That means I want to do this practice in order to become a Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. Then you just practice, generosity or in other perfections. The supreme thing, the thing which is you giving is, make sure is motivated by then supreme thing, there's a supreme aim, why you are doing, how you practice the generosity. After you practice generosity, how you do the dedication. Then supreme purity is so important. Most important, with the supreme purity. That means whatever you practice, the practice must be, antidotes, remedies, one of the negative thoughts. Right? One of negative thoughts. Even though recite just one mantra one time, make sure the practice of reciting mantra must be antidotes, can be antidotes, one of the negative thoughts. Then, division of generosity relative to the particular person. So Bodhisattva, we can divide into two categories. One is lay person bodhisattvas, one is the the audience, full audience or audience bodhisattvas. The lay person bodhisattvas must practice, mainly emphasize about, the actual practice of giving, not only teaching. Right? Teaching within the three, he or she must emphasize practice of three generosities. As a full audience, they must emphasize the first two, not the last one, which is actual thing giving away. Because generally, lay person has a more thing to give away than the, full audience. Then next, division of the actual generosity. We already mentioned this one. Giving of teaching, giving of fearless, material gifts. So next, when we practice generosity, so we are the person, agent who give things away. That means second, there must be, receiver or recipient. So how many types of recipient there? Tens. Actually, you can see in all sentient beings are, object of practice of generosity. But it's mentioned particular 10 in order to, clarify the doubt. Then what kind of motivation you must have when you practice generosity? Your motivation should have three attributes. What are the three? What the three are? Okay. Make sure focus on purpose, focus on the thing, focus on recipient. So before you practice the generosity, you must know, you must think, why I need to practice generosity? What thing I must give? Whom I must give, right? Okay, three things very important. Next, what kind of motivation must be eliminated? What kind of motivation you must eliminate it? That means there are 7, kind of 7, right? 7. What is the number 1? Yeah, kind of wrong view, right? Kind of, you should not practice generosity with the kind of have a wrong view, which is, you should not think that there is no result of the practice of generosity. Someday you think, doing some bad thing can be practice of generosity. What is the number 2? Motivation that is arrogant, right? You should not practice generosity in a sense of arrogant. Number 3, support, right? Support. What does mean? If I give something, people praise me, people respect me, I will become famous, I become, important in the society. You should not have this kind of motivation. Now, then number 4, discouragement. What does mean discouragement? According to Lamrim, yeah, should not have a kind of, regret. That means, at the beginning I said, you must give how much you can. Doesn't matter, the recipient thing, it is big or small, you don't care. Even though you have only 10 cents, you just give 10 cents according to your ability, according to your, capacity. Even though the recipient thought, oh, it's too small. I can see in India, when the beggar begging money, if we give, just 5 rupees, they, in Hindi saying, they, why you are giving this thing? In Hindi they say, अब ये क्यों दे रहा है? Why you are giving this kind of thing? It's too small. So we don't care. We don't care, huh? Just if you think you want to give, just give. Don't care what the person think about. Then number 5. A motivation is which you turn your back on someone. Lacking this means that you give out of even mandate, right? Then number 6, motivation of expecting. Number 7, your fruition. That's why, because many people think, I must practice generosity. I will become rich in the future life, right? You should not think this way. You should think, I'm practicing generosity in order to become a Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. That means it is the motivation. So do you remember what is the differences between dedication and aspiration? Do you remember the differences between aspiration, and dedication? No? Okay. Because you are so busy, your mind is very busy, you cannot upload. Yeah, no problem, don't worry. Look at. So you can have any types of aspiration anytime. You just think, no, right now, I wish, I will become Buddha. I wish I can benefit all sentient beings. You're just doing the simply aspiration, no dedication. No dedication, huh? Dedication means you need something in your hand. You need something in your mind. For example, I'm practicing generosity in order to benefit all sentient beings. Then you just give away, you give things away. That means we believe, we accumulate the merit. Now this merit, we have the merit. The merit we're going to dedicate. That means you have some, which is the positive karma, the virtues you have. You are dedicating the virtues, the karma, which is you have just accumulate. You must differentiate between aspiration and dedication. When we say do dedication, you must need something. Okay, we say now everybody do a lot of aspirations, aspirational prayer or chanting. You can do a lot of chanting, you can do a lot of aspiration, but you cannot do, dedication without having something. Yeah, fruits. The next one, how to give. Okay, how to give. It has a how to give, how not to give, how to give. Now, when you give something, how you should not give this way. How many types of there are? 13s. Make sure when you need to give something, you should not give this way. That means there are 13 different types. Sometimes you can give right now. You say, okay, you must come back tomorrow. I will give tomorrow, not today. Right? Delay. You should not delay. If you have, you must give right away. You should not delay to give things away. Then number 2, giving under stress. Right? Number 4, making a commitment before and that I will give this, right? So this means there are 13. You must go through all the number 13. Then when you practice generosity, you able to practice very pure generosity. Then how to give? When you give something, how to give? How? There are 4. How to give? For example, this is like say $1. You say, okay, you can have it. You cannot throw like this, huh? Look at it. First of all, you like smile with becoming contents and then give to any recipient. You give with the sense of happiness, sense of respect. Number 2, give with your own hands. If you could, you must give by your own hands with the respect. That's why, okay, number 2. Number 3, appropriate time. The appropriate time. You must give, on the right time. Somebody, stomach is, completely full, have just heavy dinner. If you offer food, the person won't accept. Even they accept, the food won't be beneficial for the person. You must check the time. Then number 4, without hurting any else and bring the suffering to any hardship. That means something you think is just practice generosity. You cannot give everything. Make sure it's really hunting other. Make sure it cannot cause for suffering. Here with few things very important. Like a smile, with a sense of happiness. Give with your own hand. So must, try to give by your own hand. Don't ask, even though sometimes you have a, friends with you. You say, okay, can you give this thing to someone? It's still giving a, thing away, but it's not that proper way. So that's why, for example, Adisha, when he was in Tibet, I think that time he was around 80 years old. He was very old. Every day when he woke up, he set up the offering, water. Because in Tibet we didn't have a lot of flowers. Always he set up the water for offering. Then every day he used to go, around the stupa, walk around the stupa as much as he can. Then one day, I think his disciple, one of the disciples said to him, okay, you must take a rest. I will set up the offering. Then what the answer by Adisha? The student asked him to take a rest. I will set up the offering. Then he said, if you eat the food, can I fulfill my stomach? He said, if you eat the food, can I fulfill my stomach? No, I'm hungry, I must eat. I need to accumulate merit, I must do. You should not ask to do someone. That's why, all the practices you must do, as much as you can by your own. You should not ask someone to do. Then without, hunting, make sure you should not harm any, this one. Then next one, what things to give, right thing to give. This mean, I think there's a few things. Inappropriate giving from the viewpoint of time. Inappropriate giving from the viewpoint of purpose. Inappropriate giving from the viewpoint of the one who said for something. Does that mean you always, think when I should give? For what reason I must give? Whom I must give? Then next one, I think page number 138. Relying on the remedies for the hindrance of generosity. So we hope, we wish to practice generosity, but sometimes we cannot. That means there are so many, hindrance, so many obstacles. What are there? There are 4 types of hindrance. Number 1, not giving used to generosity. Usually, people cannot things give away because they don't used to it give away. Right? If you slowly, start to give away little by little, finally, you cannot have any problem, things to give away, your thing to offer. Number 2, fortune. Sometimes you can, if you have a $10, if you want to give, if you give $1, you can see, its money become, lesser. Number 3, hindrance of the attachment. Number 4, not seeing the goal, not seeing the result. So we cannot practice generosity. First, we not used to give away. Number 2, we can see decline the fortune, the things becoming lesser. Number 3, we cannot give away because we have a very strong attachment. Number 4, you cannot see the result of practicing generosity. Those are the hindrance. So number 1, how we can try to start things give away. That means you need to contemplate the benefit of generosity and the faults of not practice of generosity. then finally you should think, even though I don't give things away, one day I have to live, everything, right? That's why, somehow, we're going to die. We never know when. So, little amount of, things we must give away. Give away to, poor people. Give away to who needs. For example, this morning, some of you went for the community service. You offer food. You give, some kind of education for them. It's really good, when you are, able to think, able to give, little portion of thing you share with someone. Little portion you must share with your friends and relatives. The little portion of your for your things you must offer to the married field, and little bit for sangha. No. Look at when you are able to think, you must share things with little bit here and there. Although you become too old, then you cannot think very properly. You cannot remember what you have. Then you try to give away, you cannot have a right motivation. I told you one story, in my village, there was the blacksmith, right, who make the iron things. He was really good his father was really good how to make the things, also really good how to put the gold on the things, the permanent gold. When you stick, it stick for almost permanently. He knows how to do this, but he never teach to his son until he became very old. Even though he became very old, even he didn't teach him. One day suddenly he got sick, very serious sickness. Then he said to son, "Oh son, I am very sorry. I thought I should teach you, this kind of, arts, how to put the permanent gold." Then his son said, "It's okay, father, you carry with you. You carry with you and you can live with this kind of knowledge." He got upset, son very upset. He said, "It's okay, you carry with you." Finally, we collect so many things, moment of the death. Then the father or parents, "Oh, I want to share my things with you." The son can say, "Oh, I don't want anything from you. You can bring with you." Right? Some person can say this way. That's why we must, share our things with, someone, some friends, some relatives, some married field. That means, look like, as I said many times, end of the month when you receive your salary, your money from someone, there's 50% you deposit in your bank, right? 50 or how many percent? 50, 70? Of course you deposit in bank, right? You cannot keep your money with your pocket. Little bit you deposit and little bit you keep in your pocket. Why? Depositing bank is look like, you are using for next time. That's means, the portion of your property, you must give something, you must share with someone for benefit for next life. Someone you must use yourself. Hindrance, decline. So decline also you can see here, So there's 4 types of hindrance and attachment and goal. So what in Tibetan master said, when you have so many things, you think I am very lucky, I am very fortunate, right? I have everything. I have a house, I have a car, I have a money, I have a clothes. I have so many things. I am very lucky. Yes, you are very lucky because you have everything. Lucky. Then the Buddha master said, this is not the time to enjoying the result of your, your karmic actions. It is the time to accumulate merit. You just enjoying the result of the karmic actions. You have everything. You just enjoying. You never try to accumulate, anymore. Then what happened? After maybe this life, you're going to finish, the previous karma action. No more. You haven't accumulated new, karma to have a wealth or welfare. Then you will be suffer in this life or maybe next life. That means there are 4 types of hindrance. Now we just go directly the new kind of lessons. The perfection of ethical discipline. The practice of generosity mainly for practicing reduce attachment, stingy, mainly attachment, right? Mainly attachment. Now, page number 143, right? How to train in the perfection of ethical disciplines. Generally, there are two different orders. Sometimes you can see the ethical discipline first, generosity is second. Sometimes you can see, generosity is first, ethical discipline is in second. There's a reason, right? If you're able to practice generosity, then you have a less attachment. When you have a less attachment, for you very easy to maintain the ethical discipline. If you have a so strong attachment so strong attachment about thing, then you're going to collect as much as you can. Then in order to collect so many things, you're going to against with your ethical discipline. This means that reason, first generosity, second is ethical discipline. Sometimes you can see ethical discipline is in first, generosity is second. Why? If you practice generosity with the ethical discipline, then the practice of generosity become more, appropriate, more powerful. Do you remember why first we need to practice generosity? Why second, ethical discipline? Do you remember? Lamrim. Everyone looking in the ceiling. Think you cannot see me, Do you remember? There's an order, right? First, generosity. Second, ethical discipline. Why generosity first?
About the 4 excellence?
No. Actually, there's a order, right? One is order of the practice. One is order of gross and subtle. Right?
Page 111.
111. Yeah. The order of arising. Yeah, 111, right. The order of arising. The order of, and the order in terms of the inferior and superior. The order of in terms of gross and subtle. Right? Okay, now the order of arising, how to arise? That means 6 arise based on 5th, 5th arising on 4th, 4th third true, 2 arise based on 1. When you have generosity, that is a distinct in a unattached resource. You take up ethical discipline. When you have the ethical discipline, which you restrain your from wrongdoing. That means when you are able to practice generosity, then you don't have any attachment about your resource. Resource can be your your property, resource can be your body, speech and mind, doesn't matter, resource. When you don't have any, attachment or your resource, then for you very easy to take a, vows, so easy to practice ethical discipline. Why we, many people become, unethical? Attachment, right? Mostly attachment. Someone is very greedy. They are so strong, they have a very strong attachment over something. Then against, they become unethical person, right? Now everybody must, read one more time. The order of arising, the order in terms of inferior and superior, in terms of gross and subtle. Okay, that means there's a two different way you can see. Sometimes ethical discipline first, generosity second. Sometimes you can see generosity is first, ethical discipline second. There's a reason. Another reason, practicing two of them, which is more easy. Practicing ethical discipline, generosity. Generosity is a bit easy, right? And you can be generous, but you cannot be easily, ethical person. First, that means, Buddha was so skillful, very skillful. When he, taught Dharma, he taught very, precisely with a very easy way. Now, how to train in the perfection of ethical discipline? That means what ethical discipline is. How to begin the actual, cultivation of ethical discipline. The divisions of ethical discipline. How to practice. A summary is same, I think, as a generosity. What does mean, ethical discipline? How we can cultivate the, ethical discipline? How many types of ethical discipline? How to practice the final summary? What ethical discipline is? Ethical discipline is an altitude of obsession that turn your mind away from the harming other end. Look at harming other end from the source of such as harm. Right? This is the definition of ethical discipline. So ethical discipline is mainly, kind of mental altitude of obsession that turns, your mind turn your mind away, return your mind away from what? Harming, then harming other and from the source of such a harm. That means when you practice, ethical discipline, first make sure when you think, I must do something, it is not good. Suddenly you just change your mental attitude. You stop to thinking, doing bad thing. This is you just, stop your mental action. Not only that, so the source of harming. So do you know what are the source of harming? There must be seven. Do you remember the known 10 virtues? Right? Known 10 virtues. What are they? 10 known virtues. How many from the bodily? 3, 4? 3. Verbally? 4. Mentally? 3. Here mainly when we talk about, ethical discipline, mainly it is emphasized about the first 7, bodily and verbally. And here everybody, another important must know, when we become unethical person, we become, physically unethical or mentally unethical, verbally unethical. The mentally, becoming unethical is very easy, very easy. It is same as, accumulating negative karma. When we accumulate negative or positive karma by physically, verbally, it takes time. It takes time. Accumulating mentally is very easy, is very fast. So do you remember there's three things very important to accumulating positive karma and negative karma. Three things. Basis. Do you remember? I think I explained when we study about the 12 links interdependent. Preparation, right? Preparation, actual action, and ending. Accomplish, right? Jorwa interpreted, we call Jorwa, Ngoji, Jorwa means preparation. I'm talking about based on physical and mental action. First, we need a preparation. For example, if I think I need to steal something, then I have a motivation. Then I need to do a lot of preparation. Second, actual action, stealing something. The end, when you feel, oh, I got it. Right, I got it. That means you fully complete, the negative action, physically negative action complete. Verbally same, first preparation, second actual saying bad thing, and you are very happy, right? For example, morning before you go to work, you are very unhappy with someone. You doing a lot of preparation. When I meet the person, I will say this and that. You going with a lot of preparation, right? Actually, when you see the person, you're using a lot of bad words. You're throwing all the bad words. After finish the kind of, saying, what do you feel? I'm so happy. Usually people say, look at that. Right? That means preparation, actual action, accomplish or ending, ending. So mental action is not like that. When you think, you already accumulated your mental karma. When you think I'm going to deceive, when you think you accumulate mental karma. There's no preparation, no action, actual action, no ending. When you think, you accumulate. When you think, I must do recitation. When you think, you accumulate mental karma. So ethical discipline is very much emphasized reduce the first 7 non-virtuous action. This means first you need to restrain your mind. Not only that, you need to overcome from the 7 non-virtues. Okay, everybody must memorize the definition of generosity, the definition of ethical discipline. Can you repeat? Can you read for me the definition? Everybody. Ethical discipline is okay, you must memorize all the definition. It's very short sentence, because when you have the definition in your mind, actually then you can see I'm practicing ethical discipline, I'm not practicing ethical discipline. If you don't have the definition, then you never know you are practicing ethical discipline or not. This is the definition. Therefore, you are bringing about the perfection of ethical discipline by progressively increasing your habituation to the attitude until you such as a completion. Right? Again, it's something, right? Do you remember the definition of the generosity? Without looking at Lamrim. The definition of generosity.
The intention to give the attachment of body and resources.
It is the intention.
Intention to give without.
It is, okay, definition, you need the complete one. It is the intention accompanying Bodhisattva disinterested non-attachment to all their possessions and their body, and motivated by this, the physically and verbal action of giving the things to giving. Okay, page number 114. Okay, next time when you come back the class, when you come for the next class, you must memorize the definition of the generosity, definition of the ethical discipline. So next one, how to begin with the cultivation of ethical discipline. Page number 144. Break? Okay, so we can have a tea break or coffee break. You already have the coffee. Hello. Yeah. We study little bit about the summary. Summary, right? Page number 140. The summary of the generosity. So actually in Buddhist tradition there's a very nice tradition. At the beginning they explain very simple way, then second explain very extensive way, and they make always have a summary. After you have taken the Bodhisattva vows, make aspirational prayers with respect to how to learn the practice of generosity on the high levels, and then turn in their methods, right? That means after you have taken the Bodhisattva vows, then we need to practice generosity. Sudden generosity we cannot practice at the moment. For example, giving your flesh, giving your children, giving your head, not easy. That kind of practice we do, aspirational prayers with respect to how to learn this practice of generosity on the high levels. Then do your aspirational, do your minor practice the finally, and you are able to give away everything. So that's why it's something we cannot practice now. You do a lot of aspirational prayers in order to practice the high level. Yeah. Next one, he said very clearly, understand and learn what is the permitted and prohibit with respect to methods of making gift that you can engage in the right way. Right? As explained above, in the particular, you must rely to the meditate on the stinginess with the respect to your body, resource, and root of the virtues. The most important one, you totally need to the stinginess about your body, speech, or belonging or resource. That means we can say you accomplish the generosity. That means finally look like you have a very precious thing in your hand. For you give it by your right hand or left hand. It's same thing, right? You cannot give by your right hand, you cannot give by your left hand. You cannot give away is by your left hand, you cannot give by your right hand. That means you still have a kind of stinginess with your belonging. So one day it come, it doesn't matter, I'm giving my body or my giving my thing is giving by, both hand, doesn't matter, right? You don't have any kind of different feeling. Giving by right hand or giving by left hand, You can have not any kind of sense of attachment. Then many people think, look at, if I give away all my belonging, then I don't have anything, right? I don't have anything. I don't have a house and car and money and food. Then you thought it's not good for you. There's two types of practitioner of generosity and generous person. One may think half. Okay, I will doing this to benefit all sentient beings. Also, they have a lot of worry, bit worry about themselves. If I give my everything, I can be very poor. I can have a food, then I will die. Right? I'm going to die. If you are truly, pure practitioner, if you give away your all belongings, you never ever going to die with the poverty. Poverty, right? Poverty, right? That's why in Tibetan belief, is belief, I think is also is become truth. They said, if the practitioner won't come down to the village, they totally give up all the samsaric thing, always want to stay in the mountain. If the practitioner won't come down to the village, if the practitioner don't, doesn't come down, the foot, going up. Right, going up. That means you are pure, become practitioner. You fully, focus on your practice. You don't need to worry about your food, clothes or shelter. Anybody can, support you. That's why it depends on you how much you can, how much you are determined. If you are fully determined, you really don't need to worry about, not having food and clothes. You will get. If you cannot make a determination, your mind is half, then you will have a problem. That's why one practitioner fully dedicate their life for the practice, and he or she can give away their everything, their belonging, totally be happy, be happy, be beggar. That's why, many Kadamba masters give advice. Yeah, this means achieve, give up, then attainment. That means achieve or something, give up, attainment. Simply saying, right now we are human. We live in the human society. We are live in the society. When we live in the society, you cannot be very honest. Can you? You cannot be very honest. You saw somebody did did some bad thing. You cannot tell anybody, or he or she did some bad thing. Even though you cannot be honest because of the culture or tradition. If 100% people are very honest, then you can be honest. Right? So we live in the society, let's say 80% people not honest, how you can be very honest. So in order to be very practitioner, pure practitioner, your lives look like bee, look like dog. Dog, I'm talking to dog the ancient time, not nowadays. Dog. Big difference. Now dogs have a luxury life. When they feel cold, people put a jacket. Tiny jacket, right? When they get sick, being hospital and doctors, we have a dog doctor. So in the ancient time, different. Dog, doesn't have a didn't have a shelter. They don't have a kind of doctor. Actually, look at, we human beings, actually, we are very bad. We totally change the habits of the animals. dog look like the weather is so cold, the hair is going longer. They have a thick hair. When the summer comes, when the weather becomes very hot, the thick hair going to lose. No need soap, no need to take a shower. They know how to clean, they know how to take care, they know how to find food. Now, if you release your dog in the market, in the street, it will die within a few weeks. Won't take few weeks, few days. The dog don't know how to search food. The dog doesn't know, how to clean themselves. We totally change, the lifestyle of the dog or, like cats, whatever. In the past, like, dog always live where? In the street. They need to get food themselves. They need to get shelter and everything. They don't have a lot of pressure. Simply dog. That means if you want to be very pure practitioner, look like a dog. And just sleep where you can get shelter. You eat what kind of food you can have. Very simple way. That means you just achieve the dog life. Achieve the dog life. Give up the human life. Human life. If you be always like a Singaporean or be like in the sustained society, something you don't like, you really don't like, but still you have to do. Something you really want to do, really like to do, but you cannot because of the culture, tradition, society. So, if you very pure practitioner, if you really want to do, you can do. If you don't like, you don't do. Right? That means, attain the human life, give up the human society, human life, then finally you're going to achieve the Buddha life. That means be very pure. So that's why we cannot be very honest, very pure, because we live in the society. That's why most important one, practicing generosity, not necessarily think everything give away. Mainly make sure you don't have any sense of attachment or your belonging. If you really want to be pure practitioner, you can give away your everything. Right? If you give away your everything in this moment, how many suffering and problem you have? How many years? Can be you have a lot of problems, suffering for a few years, maybe you won't have. Then, due to practice of generosity, you will have a really happy life. You're going to have a lot of welfare, a lot of property in the future life. That means you are facing problem for one day. You're going to enjoy for 100 life. Right? If you think this way, you won't have any problem to give away your belonging, your everything, include your life. Why we cannot give up why we cannot give our life? Why? Attachment. Anyway, you want or you doesn't want, you want or you don't want, finally you have to give your life. You have to give you have to leave your body, no choice. Getting older due to the old age or due to sickness, due to whatever, we have to leave our body. So why not we give our body with the good, we give our body for good purpose with a good motivation. Finally, if you practice, generosity very seriously, very, purely, finally you can feel it, this body no more belong to me, it belongs to other, right? Do you remember in the Lamrim what said? Every day you dedicate your belongings to all sentient beings, right? All sentient being. If somebody asks you to give something, you must give happily. It's like returning their belonging to themselves, right? Because you already dedicate your belongings to other. So, next time you must memorize the definition of generosity, ethical discipline, and try to, understand the meaning of the complete understanding of the summary. Now we move after definition, it's same thing. Therefore, you bring about the perfection of ethical discipline by progressively increasing your habituation to altitude until you reach completion. So you need to practice the ethical discipline until you complete the perfection of ethical discipline. How? That means finally you don't have any sense of thoughts which is harm towards anybody. That means you fully accomplish the ethical discipline. You should not have any sense of harming. Why not? Harming other is actually harming yourself, right? For example, before you really harm others, for example, we make a plan to harm somebody. Let's say, we all have a big meeting. We say, okay, we're going to harm our neighbors who make a lot of noisy. the hurricane, right? What do you call? Karaoke, making a lot of noisy. We are very unhappy. We make a plan to harm for them. First, we need to talk, discuss, maybe a few weeks, right? Somebody say we should harm. Somebody say we should not harm. Few weeks we are in suffer about discussion. Then second, before we really harm to them, we have a lot of mental kind of suffering, right? Mental suffering. We face a lot of, emotional suffering. So that means before we harm them, we already harm ourselves. That means just thinking about harming is very, very bad. Even though just think about, you're going to have a argument with your someone tomorrow, tonight you cannot sleep very well. Right? You keep thinking about how to do argument. You cannot sleep. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you are very tired. When you drink, coffee, or when you have a breakfast, you cannot feel the taste of breakfast. Because your mind is totally occupied about the sense of harming, sense of worry. That's why His Holiness Dalai Lama said very important. Many people think, okay, practicing compassion is mainly benefit for others. Am I right? Am I right or wrong? Practicing compassion is mainly benefit for others. Am I wrong? Am I right? Wrong. Yeah, wrong. Why not? Why is wrong? Yeah, practicing compassion or love is mainly not for others. We focusing others, we think benefit for others is mainly get benefit for ourselves. Right? For example, when you get angry to someone, just start to getting angry. Just start to get angry to someone. At that moment, you are not happy. Your face totally change. Right? Somebody offer you, beautiful breakfast, lunch, dinner, nice food. You say, I don't want to eat. You get angry already. That means just thinking about, harming other, just getting angry towards other. First, you become victim of anger. Doesn't matter. It can affect other. It can affect to other or not. First, you can get effect, right? You can see you got the really bad effect of anger. That's same thing. That's why practicing generosity is antidote of attachment. If you have a so strong attachment, your belonging. If somebody touch your object, what do? You feel? You feel angry, upset. Somebody take a little bit away. Somebody take something from you. Also, you are not happy. That means you can see, the attachment towards your belonging is very, very bad. Very bad. Then harming others is very bad. Because practicing of ethical discipline is mainly, antidote of harming, sense of, we can say hatred. So in order to accomplish the perfection of ethical discipline finally you should not have any sense of harming towards anybody. It doesn't mean, there's no any harming person. Harming person being always there. Mainly you should not have any sense of harming mind. This means, accomplishing, ethical discipline. However, it is not the case that you bring the perfection of ethical discipline to completion in the external world by establishing the being as a state free of all harm, right? This is very important. practicing ethical discipline, not necessarily, there's not any other harming beings. Ethical discipline to completion in the external world by establishing being in a state free of all harm. Otherwise, since there are still living beings who are not free from harm, the conquerors who visited the past would, absurdly not have compared the profession of ethical discipline. It is same thing as that explanation of the generosity. Next, how we can, cultivate ethical discipline. That means how to begin the cultivation of ethical discipline. As a person who generated the spirit of enlightenment and then promised to turn in the bodhisattva deeds, right? Once you generate bodhicitta, you make a promise, you made a commitment. What commitment? Commitment to benefit all living beings, right? Then you promise to endow all living beings with the ornament of the ethical discipline of perfect Buddhas. You look at his ornament of ethical discipline. Ornament. If the person is, physically beautiful, physically nice, if the person wear ornament, the person become more beautiful, more attractive. Am I right? The person is very ugly, nothing really attractive. If the person wear very heavy jewelry, very heavy kind of ornament, the person never become attractive, beautiful. Am I right? This means, practicing ethical discipline is look like, putting ornament in your body. Generally, you are a very nice person, very good looking person. If you are totally, unethical, are you look like nice person? Are you look like beautiful person? No. Right? Even though you can see among your, friends or, co-worker, someone looks so beautiful, so attractive, but the person always be unethical. Nobody likes the person, right? Nobody likes the person. Looks very nice, beautiful, attractive, but mentally the person no good. If the person, looks very nice, very beautiful, attractive, if the person wear beautiful clothes, wear in a expensive ornament, the person look more beautiful. Am I right? This means first you have to practice, Buddha Dharma, try to be good person, try to be good Buddhist. Top of them, if you practice, ethical discipline, you become more, nice person, you become, more good Buddhist. Generally, you don't have the basis of the Buddhist. You are totally against with the Buddha Dharma. Still, you try to practice ethical discipline. You cannot. You cannot. That's by ornament. So usually we Tibetan use, ornament of ethical discipline. Also, we use, ornament of ethical discipline. Perfume, right? Perfume of ethical discipline. Perfume, right? This one. Perfume, right? Look at. So, when the person use the perfume, when someone go close to the person, you can feel the, what do you call, the fragrance, the nice one, right? That means the person is always be ethical. The person always practice ethical discipline. When you stay with the person, you feel so happy, so peaceful, you're so bliss. If the person is always unethical, the person is not always, be negative. If you just stay with the person, you feel it. You are not happy with the person. Even though the person didn't say anything about you, didn't say anything, just be normal. Just stay with the person. You can feel it, the negative environment. You can feel the negative energy. That's why, ethical discipline is like ornament. Makes you more beautiful, makes you more nice, more good. Ethical discipline is like a perfume, when you go close to the person, you feel so happy, you feel, very peaceful. Ethical discipline of the perfection Buddhas. Therefore, you must accomplish the aim of the all being. Because this you have promised, right? In this regard, you must first develop the strength of your own pure ethical discipline. Right? So, I think battery is low.
It's the contact, the cable. Yeah.
Okay, so look at, when you generate bodhicitta, you make a commitment, right? What is the commitment? Commitment of for practice of Bodhisattva what is. When you practice Bodhisattva what is, for you, what your purpose? Becoming Buddha. After becoming Buddha, then first all sentient being bring to the Buddha state. When also you not only that, in order to becoming Buddha, you really wish all sentient being practice 6 perfections. All sentient being must practice ethical discipline. Before you teach to them, practice of ethical discipline, first you must practice ethical discipline, right? Pure ethical discipline. For if your own ethical discipline is impure and degenerate, you will fall to miserable rebirth and will therefore not even achieve your own welfare, never mind the welfare of others. It's a very big, kind of important advice for us. First, you must practice pure ethical discipline. If your own ethical discipline is impure or degenerate, that means, so when you if you took, layperson vows, there's 5 precepts. When you start to drink alcohol, that means you degenerate one vow. Then slowly you lie, they degenerate your vows. Slowly there's, you totally become degenerate about your vows. Then you have become very impure. Then if you, not able to practice the pure ethical discipline, that means you will fall into the miserable rebirth and will therefore not even achieve your own welfare, never mind the welfare of others. It's very important advice. Miserable rebirth, not necessarily say, you are born in the lower realms. You can see, someone, the previous the person is very nice, very educated, make, earn a lot of money. Due to the become unethical, the person start to drink alcohol more and more. Finally, the person totally in the misery. All money, finish. All properties sell. They borrow money from the, money launderer. Then the person totally in the miserable state, right? Also, you can see, becoming unethical. For example, first as a couple, as a, married person, first they are very happy, they have a happy life. Slowly, they change their mentality, they have a relationship with others, then they start the problem. Finally, the person is totally in miserable life. So, be ethical is very important. Otherwise, you're going to, fall into miserable rebirth. There's a lot of quotation. This next one. So this kind of, definition of the ethical discipline. Then now we studied very little bit about the benefit. Continuously, page number 145, at the ending of the paragraph. With respect to the benefit of guarding for your ethical discipline, they are explained earlier. There are so many, benefit. More importantly, this one, the divine substance. One. Second is the resource of the human in which to delight. The supreme bliss and the supreme state which are the wonders of deities. There are so many, benefit. Most importantly, what's the number one? The divine substance. What does mean divine substance? Divine substance. Based on the English language. This means, we believe, we never know actually. We believe there's a three realms, like desire, form, formless realm. Compared with desire realms, form and formless has a more beautiful, fruits, place, so beautiful things. If you practice, ethical discipline very purely, then you going to experience, the divine's, life. This way, divine substance. Then the resource of the human, right? Laze, so, resource of the human. Generally, there's we have so many resources human have. Just think, in order to have a happy life, most important, what do you need? What thing you really need? What is most important as a human in your life? What is the most important? House, food, job, money, what? As a human, human being, what is the most important in your life? Happiness. Okay. I say healthy. Healthy, right? If you are very healthy, you are always happy. That's why do you remember the 5 excellence? Excellence of the resource, excellence of body. Excellence of body is resort of ethical discipline. Excellent resource is the resort of generosity. Look at excellent, body. That means excellent body, not necessarily the body is look, beautiful or attractive. That means healthy body. If you practice pure ethical discipline, you can have the most important, resource of human life. How you can connect practicing, ethical discipline and, healthy body? How you can connect? How you can associate, right? Associate. How?
No drinking.
Huh?
You don't drink, your health will not be affected. So
Yeah, very true. Look at, in our life, somebody has a really suffering, become too skinny, right? Somebody has a lot of suffering to gain the weight. What has happened? They are not disciplined. If they eat the right amount of food, they never be very skinny, never be fatty. Right? Then you can see practicing the ethical discipline is very important to have a healthy body, and a healthy mind too. If you are very disciplined, you always discipline your body, you discipline your mind. I cannot discipline my body because that's why I walk too much. Then I have a now problem with the legs. That's why ethical discipline is you can use as a religion, as a the healthy issue. So that's why it's so important to practice ethical discipline, not only very purely. That's why he said second one is source of the human in which to delighted. The next one, supreme bliss. Supreme bliss. Supreme bliss, like in a state of the Buddhahood. Supreme bliss and supreme state, which are the wonder of the deities. So, that's when we wish to become Buddhahood. Without practicing general ethical discipline, you cannot be Buddha. You cannot be Buddha. That means among the 6, practicing ethical discipline is also very important. Now you can see the benefit. The next one, how many types of ethical disciplines? There are only 3. Only 3.
Can I ask, what is this supreme taste, which are the wonders of deities?
Oh yeah, supreme taste he mentioned because
what is taste?
Yeah, you are right. Because this bit translation problem here says.
So this one American English.
Don't be 1 second. I also check this one. They show royal life. Oh, the deity is not talking about the deity like we call Mahakala, Yamantaka, the form and formless realms we call deities. With Tibetan we call La. When they translate into English, they use the deities. Deities not necessarily like a Yamantaka and so. Form and formless beings are deities. So how many types of ethical disciplines are there? 3, right? How many types of ethical disciplines? 3. What are they? The ethical discipline of restraint, then ethical discipline of gathering virtues, the ethical discipline of acting of the welfare of living being. Among the 3 is mainly the emphasis of the number 1, which is ethical discipline of the restraints. The next, I think there's not much about. So now we need to spend, I think, 3 classes about the patience. Maybe we really need the 3 classes 3 times. Wisdom. This is a lot of things to learn. Basis. Getting focus on the favorable condition. How many pages are there? Patience. Yeah. As a 152 to 179. 9, right? Okay, why not we will spend 2 classes. Okay. So therefore, page number 152 to 66. Okay. Page number 52, 152 to 166. As everybody read and try to understand. So next time we have a class about page number. Then second class we're going to finish the patience. Then we really need to spend, I think, a lot of time with the last 2 perfections, particularly the wisdom. When we study the wisdom, look like we're going to study the Madhyamaka, Madhyamaka. It's not easy to understand, so I will explain as much as I can. So I think we stop here, Sonam. I got little headache today somehow. Last night something happened. I have a headache last night. Yes.